Hey Internet, how's it going? Just wanted to talk about something that's been on my mind, itching at me, scratching at me, bothering me, um, since I was in high school. So, like, for at least 15 years now, this is bugging me, and I've never really seen anybody talk about it. I'm sure people have, but I haven't seen it, so I wanted to bring it up, because that's really what this channel is for, is me to just unload about stuff that bugs me. You know, little personal diary. Um, so yeah, when I was in high school, I was pretty good at debate, and I was like a shitty student in school. I was one of those kids where I just didn't really. My teachers felt I wasn't meeting my potential, that I was capable of more than I was doing, which I guess is how they feel about everybody who just doesn't do their fucking work, you know. And I didn't do my fucking work. But I remember there was a period in my history class, freshman year, um, or maybe it was sophomore year, I don't remember, but it was one of the two, where we did like a module or whatever you call a portion of the curriculum where we were getting into debate, where we would take historical topics and we would the class would get divided up into teams and we would debate about it, and that was supposed to greater our understanding of the topic, which is that's not a bad idea. That's just like that's pretty good. And I was really good at it. I would win every time, and so the school wanted me to get into debate, get on the debate team, to kind of just get me interested in academics, hopefully save my academic career. They wanted me to do debate, which I did for a little bit, and I stopped because I don't like it. I don't fucking really enjoy structured school, academic debates. I think they're pretty meaningless. I don't think, because you can win a debate, and not be right. You know what I mean? So debate, if it's not the search for objective truth, is meaningless to me. But that's entirely beside the point of the video. That's not even what I want to talk about. You could disagree with me about the debate thing. That's fine. I don't give a shit. What I do want to talk about is logical fallacies, because they taught us what those were. That's a huge part of debate, You can't be using any logical fallacies. And of course you shouldn't, because logical fallacies are where logic breaks down, where your argument is not about addressing data or being in reality, and it's demonstrably illogic thinking. It's disprovable, and they're like misinformation or disinformation or psychological tactics that don't really have anything to do with processing information. So we've got all these different logical fallacies quantified so that you can identify them and remove them from your own arguments, or so that you can spot them when somebody else is making an argument against you. And these are incredibly helpful tools for your life in general, like not just in academic debate, but in real life. If you're like watching the news, or you're watching a politician, or even you're just talking to like your boss about like a pay raise or anything, or you're in an argument with your parents about something, like it's good to be able to identify when someone is fucking pulling the wool over your eyes, or someone is just getting one over on you. So they're an incredibly useful tool. And this is the topic of the video here, is that one of them really always stood out to me as troubling, as bothersome. I didn't feel like it fit with the rest of them. I felt like it was inappropriate that it was on the list, and I didn't want it there anymore, because I didn't think it was actually a logical fallacy. And that is the slippery slope fallacy. I don't understand why it's there. Because you got, I mean, what are the regular logical fallacies? What are the big ones? You got, like, ad hominem, or appeal to authority, or black and white, either on or off thinking, no true Scotsman, stuff like that. Stuff that you can easily be like, that's fucking dumb and wrong, That, like, you're not part of my group because you said this thing, even though you're demonstrably part of it. Now I can tick you as an out group, and so then now we got to argue on my terms, where I just, moving goalposts and shit like that. And that's what most logical fallacies are about, is about restructuring the argument away from reality. So now you have to argue with this new thing that is not what we were talking about. But the slippery slope, I feel like it can fit that, but so can every single argument tactic. I don't think slippery slope is always illogical. A lot of things are slippery slopes. Okay? There are slippery slopes out there. There are things where, I mean, big example I could think of would be, you could argue, okay, you want to enact hate speech laws in America. You want to make, I don't know, you want to make racial hatred, insightful speech illegal. You're telling me, because the slippery slope is a logical fallacy, that if I were to say, okay, but banning one type of speech is going to necessarily lead to the eventual banning of further types of speech, because that's the reason these rights are constitutionally protected, because that's how authority works, is they suffocate your rights, and our founding fathers understood that and codified these things into immutable law, so you couldn't fuck with them. So if you get in there and you change that amendment, eventually it's going to be eroded down to a nub, and we're not going to have it anymore. If I say that, if I make that argument in a debate forum, I lose, because that's a logical fallacy. That's stricken, you're fucked, which is ridiculous. That's fucking ridiculous, because that is a valid argument. Okay? If you disagree with that argument, not only are you wrong, but I also don't fucking like you, okay? Because the implications of saying that that's not a valid argument are pretty draconian, actually. And so that's, and that's my issue with the slippery slope thing, because I feel like the powers that be that fucking control over us are the ones, nefarious, authoritarian assholes who gradually creep in and fuck everything up. You see these people everywhere. They're all over the fucking place. In every facet of your life, you have that one asshole who wants to make everything about them. And these people are very determined and very pervasive and very invasive, and they fuck everything up. And I feel like the only reason that the slippery slope is a logical fallacy is because one of these cocksuckers got their hands on. I mean, academia, blah, 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 whatever, is poisoned. You know what I mean? It's a biased piece of shit now. So it's not really that conspiratorial ridiculous for me to say this shit. That someone has gotten a hold of this shit and is poisoning thought and free exchange of ideas. Because that shit just does not belong there, okay? Slippery slopes, I can show you examples. They happen all over the fucking place, okay? The free speech one is the most obvious, immediate one I can think of. You erode a right, you put someone's foot in the door of the Constitution, they're going to continue to fuck it up, period. That's what's going to happen. So, I don't know. That's all I wanted to talk about on that, I guess. Keep on keeping on, baby.